Are we supposed to celebrate Hanukkah?
Well, it's a celebration in the sense that Thanksgiving is a civil holiday here in the United States. It's a remembrance of the end of the Civil War. That's what Thanksgiving is all about. Now, Hanukkah is just like that. It's just a remembrance. It's not an observance that we are compelled to do, but teaching our children from the past's experience of the nation. If you want to ignore history, then you can do that. But it's not wise to ignore history. The historical event happened. And that's what the book of Maccabee 1 and 2 are about. And it's not ordained by Yahuah, but it is a remembrance. It's history.
Well, Yahushua went and he celebrated the dedication. They called it the dedication.
Yeah. The Feast of Dedication.
Yes.
Well, it's an observance of the remembering of the... It's really the purpose of Hanukkah, as it's stated in the book of Maccabee. I think it's the second book, that we're to remember this. Remember, not necessarily think of it as a special ordained thing to do, but it's not ordered. But it is something that they wanted us to do, to remember the deliverance and to give thanks to Yahuah. That's what the observance of the time of this year is. It's not about giving gifts. It's not even necessarily about the oil that was found, or, there was a cruse of oil found in the temple after they conquered their oppressor, and took the cruse and they lit the menorah with it. It doesn't even say how long, really. But tradition in the Talmud and so forth has elevated it to be about the symbol of the menorah. But the menorah was just one little part. They found the oil and they lit it. They were searching for it, and they only found enough oil for one day.
Okay, so basically, it ended a period of really bloody period of time.
Yeah.
A lot of bloodshed, a lot of horrific things were being done.
Yeah.
The temple was defiled, and then they needed to clean it, and they needed to see what they were doing to clean it.
Yeah, they used the menorah light, and they lit it, and they were cleaning it up, and
Yahushua thought it was important enough to observe the Day of Dedication.
Well, I don't know how deeply he was.
Well, he
wasn't. He was in the temple at the rededication.
Yeah.
Remembrance, I guess you'd call it, to give thanks to Yahuah. That's what it's about. It's a day of thanksgiving, and we remember it on the 25th of the month.
Well, that's kind of cool. I like that. It's a day of Thanksgiving.
Yes.
In the temple.
No reason to ignore a day that the nation gives thanks. It's almost thought of as like a second Sukkoth, but it's not really called that, and it's not given as a feast of Yahuah.
That doesn't sound right.
Don't get it confused. I know it's something the Talmud brings up.
Right at all,
yeah, that's
what
tradition.
About the gift giving?
Well, that started in the late 1800s here in the city of Cincinnati in the United States, and that's just to appease the fact that the synagogues or the assemblies of the Yahudim in Cincinnati they felt like they were losing their children, because everyone was celebrating Nimrod's birthday and getting excited, and we've always been trying to resist we are the counterculture. We expose the evil. We have to talk about it. We can't just say, well, they'll figure out that it's evil if we just tell them the truth. You've got to show them the truth and then say Yahuah doesn't like this. Somebody said, hey, where can I find a Christmas tree? Well, have you checked YashaYahu chapter 10? You can show them that. And then they'll look at you kind of funny and tilt their head and go, what? You have to tell them where this stuff came from. That's what I wrote the book Fossilized Customs for. But your question pertaining to this event is, are we supposed to do this? Well, are you supposed to remember history? That's the real question.
Yeah, but what about the gift giving, though?
Just ignore that. Yeah.
Ignore it.
Yeah, just ignore it. And if somebody wants to do something for their children or grandchildren, and you say, well, that's the only part of it that's really, borrowed. And it is. It's borrowed. And we just sort of go along with it and say, well, let's not pay a lot of attention to that. But when you have your grandchildren or your children, if they're young enough, and you say, I want you to remember that there was a great thing that happened around this time of year. And it's something I want to teach you. And it's a teaching and a thanksgiving and a remembrance. Yahuah remembers it. He did it. He was the one that gave power and strength to the weak. There's no way that the Maccabee family could possibly have done this without Yahuah. That's the miracle. The miracle isn't about the 8 days of the menorah burning at all. That's not what Hanukkah is about. Hanukkah means dedication. And in the book of Yahuah, they call it John, chapter 10. I think it's around verse 22, I'm not sure. But it says that Yahusha was in the colonnade or the area of the porch of Shlomo, and it was the time of the feast of dedication of the Yahudim. They were remembering, in that city. That's the very city and the very place, that.
I doubt he was carrying pretty wrapped up packages to give gifts to his family or to.
No, that wasn't what it was about. Yeah, as we learn more, we want to emphasize the meaning of Thanksgiving, not the American Thanksgiving, but that's a civil Thanksgiving too, for the ending of the Civil War. Why would someone not want to give thanks as a nation, even as a civil nation, to observe a little remembrance day for something Yahuah stepped in with and kept our country from breaking apart? But in the case of Hanukkah, this helped the world because the Torah was being eliminated. And the children were in the book of Maccabees studying Torah secretly, because they were going to, if they were found studying, they would have been executed. And their whole families would have been executed. But when they hear they had a lookout that would be listening. And this is recorded history. And if the soldiers were coming, they put the scroll away and they got out their little game. And that's what the dreidel is about. Spinning a little top and watching watching them play a game. And they said, what are you doing? And they said, we're just here playing a game.
And it was a really convenient game, wasn't it? Because it was just a little top.
Yeah.
All you had to do was spin it.
Yeah, it had an object of to draw your attention.
Well, I know my grandchildren enjoyed spinning the dreidel.
Yeah. It's part of history. It's a way of archiving. You have to look up the word archiving, and it'll explain what that is. It's using an event of the past to teach someone about it in the present, so that you can look back and remember something. Archiving. It's a ARCHAIZING. Okay.
Well, I just saw some lightning.
Lightning.
Woo, we better shut this down.
Okay.
We'll have coffee another day.
Well, have a nice one. We love you.
Ooh, there it was.
There it was.